Attention, everybody. The views and opinions expressed on the show are not necessarily those of Acts Ministry, Acts Media Group, and or their affiliate and subordinate ministries and or nonprofits.
Liking and sharing.
Now hit M for merge. Go ahead and hit that button right there. Good morning! Coming to you live from Acts Media Group headquarters here in beautiful Springfield, Missouri. It's the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay with the hosts. Matt and Jay! And Jeff with the G.
Jeff with the G.
Jeff G. Dizzle for Shizzle.
Hello.
Man,
Here's
beautiful day.
Jay.
Did I say my name?
Nah.
And I'm Jay.
Well, I haven't done the.
Oh.
Wait for the hook. All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay. My name is Matt.
My name is Jay.
And Jeff with the G.
We're glad to have everybody on board with us today. Jeff with the G, Dizzle for Shizzle. Welcome to the Shizzo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo.
Yo.
So Steve O'Mickey Mactastic will be here shortly.
Yes.
I said he got a bit of a late start today. So yeah, everything's working fine at the moment. It looks like we got our sound and everything. First off, be sure you like and share this video. That helps us out more than you guys know.
Yes.
Because that
I have
gets
liked and shared already.
Have you?
Yep. And then I went to Acts Media Group on Facebook, and I'm watching it from there.
Here we go.
Nice.
Yep.
That happens if you don't mute it.
Yep.
Mute.
Got it.
All right. There it is. Today's topic, you got to roll with the punches.
Got to roll with the punches.
Now,
Rolling.
Now, there's a metaphorical point to that as
Yeah.
well as a physical point.
Literal, physical.
Jay knows about the literal.
Good morning, Steve Schultz.
Oh, you're going to roll with the punches in the literal sense.
Whoa.
there's no, yeah.
Why, Jay, whatever do you mean?
Oh, well, the brutality of a fight when you get punched.
It's nothing like they show in the TV.
Let me start on the
No.
low end. The suburban boy. Because I literally had a little fight with my friend, 7th grade,
Yeah.
and we were just getting on each other's nerves. So we started wrestling, Jersey, and in
You
the
hit him
country
in the
club,
mouth?
in
It's
the country
exhausting.
club, 2 country club kids, just kind of pushing and shoving. Tim Chambers, Tim, what's up? And
What's up, Tim?
What's with the arm? Is that
Sup?
yeah.
It's an
it's
elbow.
like peace out, yo.
Yeah.
But
Penis.
Tim,
Bro.
Tim was
Yeah,
getting
bro.
my nerves, and I was getting on his nerves. We started like pushing
Morning,
and shoving,
Jana.
and we just started wrestling. And we rolled down this embankment into this tiny little stream. But before we got to the stream, we rolled through heavy pricker bushes. That hurt.
Oh, yeah.
We rolled. We rolled. We didn't even punch. We just rolled.
Yeah.
That was the end of that.
It's exhausting, too.
That
isn't
was
it?
the end of that.
Were you
one.
exhausted?
Sounds like loads of fun.
No, because I didn't have enough time. I was just in a lot of pain.
Hey,
With the
Steve
prickers.
McAllister.
Steve O'Mickey
Good morning,
Mactastic is in the he's
He's in the
out.
house.
that-
We're
that-
rolling with the punches, Steve. If anybody knows how to do that, it's you.
That's my suburban roll.
Steve Vizzle,
Yeah.
O'Mick Tizzle. For sizzle. No, that's you.
I bet Steve threw down a couple times.
So yeah, I think it's funny because I hear people talk about fighting.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh man, it was like 15 minutes," and I'm like, "Dude, there's no way you saw a real fight that lasted 15 minutes
Right.
because it is so exhausting. Literally 1 minute is about the length of a real fight where people are trying to punch each
Yeah,
other's head
and
off.
that's a long fight.
And then there's also ambulances and blood and lots of it.
Oh,
You could probably take
And
the
that's
mask
just a
off, Steve.
minute. But when you take this and you hit somebody as hard as you can without reservation to
Right.
save your own life,
whoa.
you're going to be hitting somebody really hard. Things break. The flesh splits and the bone breaks. And there's a lot of blood, and it's not,
I was in a hurry.
you know what I mean? It's not a high school fight. It's not friend fight. It's a real fight for your life issue. And you're going to roll.
With the punches.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, they're supposed to say, like, if you get
And
hit,
then
you're
to the
supposed to
hospital.
roll with it, and it doesn't hit you as hard.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but
that
that's
takes
a
a lot of
truly
experience.
that's true brutality though too, and I think it's rare. That's a rare experience for most of humanity these days because of law enforcement and our military. You know, we are lucky because that's the truth is that people in mutual combat, which is what I participated in, that it's different than a battery, which is also very, very brutal. But you know, it's something I think most people haven't experienced. So when they say, you know, stuff like defund the police, it worries me that some people are actually achieving that goal. Because once truly brutal sociopathic people are free to do as they please, they will band together because social media is an easy way for them to get together and find each other. And when they start roving in gangs, you know, people, not because they don't have options, like a lot of gangs are not built of sociopaths or psychopaths. They're sociopaths as a learned behavior because they're fighting back, you know. They've been through poverty and a lot of things that create
There's some of
malice.
that is it's literally survival, instinct.
But a sociopath
with reason.
or a psychopath isn't going to have a feeling of anger or anything like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're going to just brutalize you
Hi, Danny
because
Patterson.
they're trying to get what they want.
Stephanie Brown.
And when that happens,
Rachel or Mickey Mac.
I pity the people who want to
Hey.
successfully defund the police. I pity
Did you
them.
say? Oh, I thought you said I pity the fool.
Well, I pity
pity
them
the
because
fool.
they don't. They've never seen brutality, and they don't understand what they're going to be subject to. You know.
So, Steve, give us a story of your throwdown when you
when
you
you
said
throw
that's
down.
it, done. You're going down.
I'm going down. Oh man. Oh, I got a good one. I think
there
I
you go.
told you guys during my testimony about when a kid decided he was gonna do me in because I don't know what I did to his brother. And by the way, thank you. You can't hear me, can you?
I can hear you.
I can hear him.
I can hear you
okay.
too.
It just what?
There you go.
Okay.
Is that
All
better?
right. Yeah. Now.
There you are.
Now.
Yeah.
Can you hear me
I can hear
now?
I did all
He
the
might be a
whole
little.
time. Now
he might be a
now
little
you heard-
loud, actually.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, and
How old were you?
I think I was like 13 years old,
So it's eighth grade.
around 8th grade.
That's a biggie.
Yeah, they're brutal. I mean,
No
those
doubt.
junior hires, but it was before the 9th grade started going into the high school. It was 7th, 8th, and 9th. It was called junior high. Nobody talks about junior high. It's all middle school now. But anyway.
They should just call it juvies.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a perfect name.
As in delinquents.
Yeah, but I had those in youth group, you know. Anyway,
I had them in catechism in Catholic school too. So
Yep.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they were
Oh,
brutal. Those
brutal.
Those 7th, 8th graders, man. The 9th graders are like the senior juvies.
well, catechism was for us public school kids after school
Right.
on Wednesdays. So you're like, we weren't having it. We're like, what? We're not getting graded? Are you kidding me?
No way.
Threw down.
And so I got off the bus, and me and my friends were walking. I was about a block from home, and this kid comes up and said something, and I don't know what I did to his brother, did to him. All of a sudden, he's like, he pushed me, and I thought, okay. And I don't remember the subject matter. That was a long time ago. Anyway.
Long time ago.
Long time ago.
Long time ago.
Back in the day.
And
Sorry, Steve.
What?
Teasing you about your age.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
You're younger than me, and
Barely.
well, I was gonna say you youngster, you.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, so he pushed me, and I thought, "What are you doing that for?" And he goes, "What are you gonna do about it, huh?" And next thing I know, boom!
Whoa.
He punched me, and my friend Beth was standing there, and I said, "Beth, run home and get help." And she's, I'll be right. She took off, boom, and he later. In the meantime, he's punching me. He threw me down on the ground and just took his fist and boom, 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 boom on my nose. I thought he broke my nose.
yeah,
He
it
didn't,
hurts.
but man, I was a mess. And so his brother's my mom and dad's newspaper or delivery. Remember when papers were delivered to
Absolutely,
your
I
house?
did
Uh-huh.
it.
Okay, I
Oh, yeah,
did
me
too.
too.
And so he, Oh, thank you. And so he
I'll have a
continued-
double macchiato, please.
Would you like a cup?
No, I'm good.
You sure?
Okay.
No, it's okay. I'm good. I'm good.
This is
Thank
a
you.
good movie, isn't it? No.
Yeah.
He
I need the
continues
coffee to stay
punch
awake.
me, and at first she said, "Leave him alone, leave him alone, leave him alone."
Uh-huh.
And I said, "Just go get help, Beth." And so I'm coming home, no blood's dripping
Mm-hmm.
down my nose, and I got to my mom and dad's garage, and his brother was in the garage delivering the paper,
Mm-hmm.
and I lost it. I was just like, my mom's like, "What in the world?" I went over to the news, and I boom.
His brother?
His brother, because his brother is the one that told him to get rid or to help to fight me. or
How'd you
to-
know that?
Huh?
How did you know that?
Because he told me. He told me later on. He goes, "Well, I had Johnny beat you up for me." He came right out, and admitted it, and so. But when I punched him, and I screamed at him, I said, "What in the world do you think you're doing, having your little brother beat me up?" And it wasn't.
Chastity
He wasn't
Norris?
so little, but
Tara Bolander.
Younger.
younger. He was younger,
So why did he?
and so
What was
my
your
dad,
input?
my mom got upset because when I punched him, he fell off the bike,
Mm-hmm.
and I did it in revenge because I was so upset,
Mm-hmm.
and my dad called the newspaper and told him he was let go. Because of this whole thing with this fight,
For starting it.
they suspended him. I don't know if they fired him, but they told him, "You're not delivering newspapers for a while," and because of the situation. And so the next day at school, he just looked at me and I said, "You know what you did. I want an apology."
He said that to you?
I said that.
Oh, okay.
I said
To
I
him.
need an apology.
After you punched him?
After I punched him in revenge for his brother punching
Did
me.
he apologize?
Yeah, he did. And there was no more problems after that.
I bet not.
All right, we're still at the low bar. Right? I rolled down the hill with my buddy wrestling.
Yeah.
He got punched and punched back. How about Matt? Because
Okay.
I think that Jay's I think he's kind of like the pace setter here for.
Oh, yeah,
I'll be
his-
careful.
Okay, so I'll tell you. All
He's
right,
raising the
so
bar here.
I got picked on a lot in school, and I think
How
it was
come?
well, just because I was always the chubby kid, and I never protected myself. I always just took it.
See, that's the prejudice. That's the whole thing.
Yes.
If it's not one thing, it's another.
I was afraid. Well, I wasn't defending myself because I didn't want to get in trouble. My school had a zero tolerance. If you got into a fight with somebody, you both got the same punishment. And I didn't want to get in trouble at the house. So, one of my he was my best friend back then. He lived down the street from me. His name is Josh, and his buddy was trying to on the bus was trying to egg us on. I was a boxer, mind you, so I fought when I wasn't at school.
Trained.
Well,
Trained.
how old were you at this point?
15, 16?
So like a sophomore.
15. I was 15.
Sophomore in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and this kid on our bus, he kept trying to get us to fight each other, and we're friends. And he sucker punched me. Well, I thought, okay, good, this guy's off the bus. We can stop with this now. Sorry, I got a mustache hair there. And whenever we got off the bus, that kid had rode his bike all the way to our bus stop and just kept egging us on. For some reason, I don't know why. I didn't have any problem with the guy. He just wanted to start a fight between us. And my friend sucker punched me in the mouth, and that was the last punch he got.
Uh-oh.
You'd be surprised the boxing instincts kick in whenever
Yeah,
you
you
train
train.
for 4 to 6 hours a day.
Wow.
Okay, so he started swinging at me, and I'd duck under him, come up and clock him in the jaw. I wasn't hitting him as hard as I could because it was my friend.
So you were the fat kid who could.
Yeah.
Yeah. When and then I also
He's got a great heart, though.
Yeah, I'm the type of guy where if I have to punch somebody in the face, I feel really horrible about
You
it.
cry
So
afterwards.
what'd you do?
Yeah. Well, I punched him in the face a bunch of times.
What happened to the
Well, and I told
checks
him, I
and
was like,
balances?
I finally stopped, and I was like, look, I don't want to fight you.
But I got
And
skills.
I started to walk away. And the next day, he told everybody at school that he whooped my butt.
So then what?
Then I decided I was going to really fight him.
With an audience.
I
'Cause
was
you
letting
didn't have
everybody
a-
know.
You know, you didn't have a.
Well, his
smartphone,
buddy was there, but you didn't have a smartphone there.
right?
But
So you-
I was
you
sure to.
witnesses.
This was pre-smartphone history.
Yeah, I had somebody get me a fist pack. It was a wooden grinder handle with a steel bolt through it. I was going to be. He was going to know that he was in a fight the next day. I was mad. So
Apparently.
and on the bus, you know, I was like, "Are you ready? We're going to do this today.
Whoa.
I'm ready for you today. You can't sucker punch me today." And he goes, "No, I don't want to fight you."
So what'd you do? This is getting interesting.
Well, no, I mean, I said, "Well, I didn't want to fight you yesterday. You know,
Oops.
you're my friend. We shouldn't be
Enraged.
fighting. You let this dummy egg a fight on between us, and I don't even know what in the world. Why did you hit me in the first place? I didn't do anything to you. I didn't actually mean to hit you." I was like, "Well, you hit me once." I said, "But today you're not going to get to hit me again." "No, I'm not. I don't want to fight you. I don't want to fight you."
For the obvious reasons.
He says, And then this is
But
before
his
that
face
movie
was
Tommy.
pretty sore already.
He goes like this. He goes.
The next day is horrible.
He was like, he didn't have any bruises showing up yet, and he goes, it hurts really bad, like right here.
Yeah.
He was wimping out.
Got
Well, 'cause
all
he would
those
swing at
ligaments
me.
stretched and
I was surprised that I was able to, duck under him and then come over his shoulder and just clock him right in the jaw. I kept hitting him right there in that
Did
jaw.
you loosen any teeth?
I don't know, possibly.
they tightened back up actually.
Long story short, we were friends again after that, and that was just a fluke of nature. And then there was another guy that. Now, there were a lot of people that witnessed this particular fight, and people left me alone after this. You know.
You were like because you knew you
'Cause
the
you knew
fat
how.
guy can't mess with.
Well,
Yeah, they weren't gonna win.
I went home one day and
And if they did win, they were still going to get hurt.
I kept complaining to Mom about these people picking on me, and Mom said finally, she goes, "Look, next time somebody picks on you, I want you to punch him in the mouth, and I want to see blood." And she said, "I don't care if you get suspended or expelled. You got to start defending
My
yourself."
dad said that to me,
So-
but not my mom. My mom's like, no.
So this kid was picking on me, and then he realized I was ready to defend myself, and I ended up chasing him across the school parking lot twice, and then on top of what used to be railroad tracks over there in Willard. And he saw somebody down on the ground, and he not down on the ground, but like you go down the hill, and there was somebody standing there.
Some
that
hobo.
Josh Flores was his name. His brother's actually a very well-known Latino boxer.
Whoa.
He was part of the boxing club. His dad was one of my coaches.
All right, so the stakes are raising here.
So
Yes.
so he runs down there
back up.
and he's talking to this guy, and then they both walk up, and he's like, "Oh, you're in trouble now. He's gonna whoop you." And he looked at him, and Josh said, "No, I'm not. This is your fight. You start it, you finish it."
There you
He
go.
goes, "You will if I pay you, and I got lots of money." He goes, "I'm not taking your money. This is a competition between who's got the bigger egos." And he started talking again. I didn't give him a chance to talk much longer. I just punched him in the jaw, and he turned around and ran away. Well, Mr. Flores was well known throughout the school, and he told everybody about it. And after that, nobody picked on me again.
End of story.
Yeah. One guy that used to bully me, he showed up and he was standing in front of me one day, and he reached out his hand to shake it. Okay, well, where'd this come from? You know, I'm too nice though. I mean, I'm not too nice. I'm the way God made me.
Yep.
I
That's
love
what I
people.
was going to say about
I
me.
hate confrontation. Period.
Yep.
There's a point where there's only so much you can take,
Yeah.
Right.
and you got to hit back.
There's,
so
it's called a breaking point.
Yeah.
My friend in New York, Oscar Flores, interestingly,
You know, they're probably related.
he's one of these knuckleheads. Guy, I love Oscar, and he'd tell you himself. But you know what it is? He's Guatemalan, and he's got every different race. I call him Calico Man. Like a calico cat is a mixture,
Right.
I call him Calico Man. But he's got too much Indian blood. So if he takes a drink, forget it.
Fire-blooded.
Yep.
So he comes to work sometimes. A few times he goes, "What happened?" He said, "Oh, I was on the subway. someone like said something. He's just like he'd always get beat up, and he's like the nicest guy. But you gotta. It's no joke.
No, it ain't.
Jay,
It
I think
ain't.
Pick your battles.
Jay's gonna take it to the next level here because we're talking life threatening.
Um,
Matt,
we've talked about him
Matt
before.
was there. Matt was there, but Jay, just like in a 3 sentence, he could synopsize.
Well, yeah. There's,
Little something,
so the
something.
brutality of so I fought with drug dealers a couple of times, and there's no referee. You get knocked out, and you're still getting beat up. I've come to from being knocked out in fights, and still been getting beat up.
and then he won the fight.
Yeah. Well, I did. I don't know if I could say I won because I hit them, and that stopped the fight. They didn't want to fight anymore.
Sometimes it only takes one sock.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
I
one punch.
definitely looked worse than they did. You get knocked unconscious and somebody's beating you while you're unconscious and you're not defending yourself. But usually at that point they get a little comfortable and feel safe because you're unconscious. But then when you come to, they're right there.
If you
And
come
now you're fighting for your life, so the swing is all in.
It's a whole different ballgame.
It's a whole different ball game. Yeah. So I've been in one fight where a friend of mine. Okay, so I don't
Morning,
know if I'm
Cheryl.
disclosing too much, but it's okay. It's part of my testimony. It's something I think that's important for people to understand
Yeah, right.
about how brutality is.
Right, that's just a life lesson.
My friend did some work for a drug dealer, and they owed him some money and refused
Morning,
to pay him.
Jennifer.
So then we did something that was supposed to intimidate them, but it actually provoked them. And so then they came after him, and I was at his house, and I wanted to protect my friend, so I went out first on the porch, and apparently he didn't come out after me. So I got knocked out right away. As soon as I came out the door from the light of the room into the darkness of night, I couldn't see anything and got hit and knocked out, and they dragged me up the driveway. And I remember kicking one of them in the face from the ground because they had me down on the ground and were kicking and punching me.
These were like drug dealers
Yeah.
or bikers or
Yeah,
both?
well, literally, okay, so it's cliche, but one of them was probably 6 foot tall, built like a brick house. And then the other one was probably 6'6", but he was really just like overweight. He had to have weighed 300 plus pounds. And so I ended up so I kicked one of them in the face, was the best shot I got in that I can remember. And I ended up having my left femur dislocated, both of my shoulders dislocated, 3 ribs broken, my spleen bruised, my eye socket fractured with 5 stitches in my head, and a brain contusion. From that
That's a
fight.
bruise on the brain, by the way.
Yeah.
This is different than rolling down in pricker bushes, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Well, that
big
one,
time.
I don't know that I would. So that's the one fight I didn't win, that I know of, that I can remember. The one fight that I didn't. It wasn't me who hit them that
right,
stopped
Steve.
it.
But how'd you stop? Like you were
The sirens, police came.
But you had a cycle of fighting. So how did it come to
Missed
an
you
end?
too, Jennifer. I did.
Oh, me? Did I stopped fighting?
Yeah.
Oh, so I went into recovery. Well, a girl.
Oh,
A girl came into my life, and we got together, and we were drinking together. So that was a pretty volatile relationship. But the fighting in the environment that I was in stopped because I wasn't in that environment anymore.
You
I
said
Right.
you had to get out
committed
of it.
my time
Had to
to
get out of it.
Yeah, getting out of it. Because if your heart is to protect your friends and they're putting themselves in a position with drug dealers and stuff where there's going to be a real fight, a brutal, even maybe a murder, you're going to be into an environment that is so brutal, and it's going to reoccur. Every party we had, there was a real fight. I mean, somebody was getting bloodied and broken bones, and, that's how it was.
I try. By the way, the positive part of that fight that I was in,
Mm-hmm.
he later on in years later, he worked at the post office in town, and I didn't even know it was him when I walked in to collect my mail, and he's the one that brings the mail to you, and I said, yes, young man, I'd like to get my mail, and I looked at him and I went, Johnny? He's like, hey, Steve, and I was like, oh my, and I hadn't seen him since junior high.
Is he the younger brother or the?
Yeah, he was the middle. He had a younger brother now, but I was like, wow. And he shook my hand and he said, "How things going?" And he hugged me before I left. That's that was. I hadn't seen him, and all of a sudden it kind of almost shocked me.
Peacemaking.
I froze. I was like, "Wow, thanks, Johnny. Have a nice day." You know. Well, then, may he rest in peace. He ended up passing. He got sick, and he passed away a few years ago. And but that was one classic fight I will never forget. And his older brother, Bill, won't either. But we're all friends now, and well, of course, you know who Cindy Flowers is, right? They were neighbors. So Cindy remembers that fight.
Yeah.
And but now all of them, Bill is somewhere, and anyway, their younger brother has married and has a baby or two. So everybody grew up and grew out of that. But when you're in junior high and high school, you have one mentality, and then when you have that fight image and you have that well, look at me image, and all of a sudden you grow up and you come out of that. It's just like the Bible says, put away childish things.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. And
Well, and live by the sword and die by the sword. See, the one with my fighting, it progressed
Morning, Larry
into
Melton.
more and more dangerous fights. Where so the people that I would end up in fights with would be more and more dangerous and brutal. That's the path that you go down. I mean, that's what happens.
And my friend Oscar, God bless him, he's been holding on to Jesus and going to AA for years now. He's good.
Me too. Yeah.
So and my being a knucklehead, a little bit of knucklehead, I was doing the junior high school stuff, the stupid fighting, and just trying to show off and be an idiot, whatever.
That's
Yeah.
right, Jeannie.
Gave
I think
me enough
survival
guilt.
instinct, though. Don't you think the rolling with the punches part is that, you're gonna get hit in life. The punches are gonna come, and it's gonna hurt, and it's gonna knock you down. But you got to keep surviving.
Well,
You got to strike.
You got to go with it, and when you roll with the punch, like literally roll with the punches, it lessens the effect of the damage on
yeah.
that it causes on you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
rolling with the punches is like knowing how to deflect it, and you're headed that way anyways. You're in the situation. Do it the best you can. Give it to God and let it roll off your shoulders.
Well, Muhammad Ali he's a man with that. He's the rope-a-dope. But that's even avoiding the punches, skillfully. But
I think avoiding is probably a good thing too.
Yes,
because
that's
that's what changed.
right.
Is I
That's the best
stopped
thing.
being in the environment where I knew those things
Morning,
would be coming
Susan
up.
Burrows.
That's why he was so pretty.
Morning,
as he would
Susan.
say.
Scott Holland.
Yeah. But but sometimes those
Scott's on
stupid
my
things we
watch
do
party.
help us to see ourselves how dark we are, and we if we go to the Lord, man, it can fix a lot, and you can go back and apologize to people we
Here's
messed
the
with.
hardest part of fighting: words. Fists hurt for a while, but it's the fighting, the words that somebody fights you with, and if that tongue gets uncontrollable, those are forever scars, or they scar you more than just a physical scar from a fight. And that happened with me, with the bullying at school, at home, especially at home. I know that sounds weird, but maybe not. But at church, that's really weird because I got bullied there too.
Yeah, when you're being bullied by somebody that knows you well enough to make it personal.
Oh yeah,
And at church, that's what really stings.
it's like people who know your insecurities,
Pushing your buttons.
and kids are ruthless when it comes to that stuff. They just think about getting the biggest laugh or trying to assert dominance, and they don't care what kind of psychological, emotional damage they're
They're
doing
not
to you.
thinking that.
No, and they'll cause a lot of damage. You know that old saying, and it was probably said by somebody who was popular and didn't actually
Sticks
get
and
picked on.
stones one.
Sticks and stones might break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That is not true.
That's a myth.
I think the words hurt more, but the pain of the fights I was in still is with me. My shoulders hurt every day, from being dislocated, and they were twisting them and stuff. My ribs, if I cough or move a certain way, they pull out a joint,
Ooh,
and that's
yeah.
very painful. Dislocated ribs is very painful.
Well,
Put
there's
you
a-
on the floor.
There's a story from my college,
Jesse Rowland, welcome to the show.
Rutgers, that there was a big story a few years ago, at least 10, 12, of a guy who was gay, and another guy at the college posted some video of him, I think, like maybe messing with another guy, and it humiliated him online. This is stuff that goes on now. What do they call
Cyberbullying.
that? Cyberbullying.
Oh yeah.
And he ended up jumping off the George Washington Bridge.
Oh, no.
And that got a lot of press. And that was just, talk about words will never hurt me.
They stick with you for the rest of
yeah,
your life.
that
believe
was
it or
a
not.
horrendous.
They might be in the
Yeah.
back burner, but they're still with you.
Yeah, the scars from words last a lot longer.
He was so humiliated.
So
And that was
See,
my
that's a
dad that
shame.
did that to me, and
It's awful.
I just didn't understand. I couldn't. My mom was always like, "Shh, shh, shh, don't say anything. Don't you back down. No, don't you say anything," because she was afraid that something was going to happen. Whether it be physical or more verbal. And so she just kept on shushing me, and I'm like, okay. So I kept my mouth shut for the longest time, and there were sometimes I got brave enough to say something, but not derogatory, but just defend
Defend
myself.
yourself.
And there's a difference between defending and back talking. When somebody's bullying you, you're trying to defend yourself, and you're getting overrun by that person. It just goes back and forth and back. So rather than just try to do that, I just clammed up, and I shouldn't have, but I did.
and that it's rough, especially if you're picked on by people that supposedly that love you.
Yeah, where you're supposed to be safe and loved.
We hurt the ones we love.
Like
and taught.
I had a buddy in high school, and I used to go over to his house all the time, stay the night, have fun. But when he was around certain people at school, he'd join right in and bully right along with them.
That's a sheep mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bad deal.
You see, you can turn anything
But,
tragic into something funny when you're when you're with Matt
I think it's a coping
or
mechanism.
Jeffrey.
No, Matt's good with a voice. I got to give him credit.
Well,
He could have gone back. He could have gone further with bad, but I think if
You're
you
gonna-
give him
yeah.
another shot, he could
Bad.
there you go.
Bah!
Cool your head.
That's pretty sheepy.
Oh, I'm so sheepish.
Sheepish, I
It
mean.
is.
Sheepy? That sounds like you're
Sheepy.
saying. That sounds like, man, am I sheepy?
Sheep-like.
Don't be a sheepskate.
Oh,
Oh,
some puns.
I think we better stop.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Too late.
We haven't done dad jokes in a while.
I know that. Oh, you reminded yourself. None of us said anything.
Yeah,
Here it comes, folks. It's Monday morning time for bad
Rolling with the punches.
dad jokes. It's not every Monday morning. By the way, Kelly Cosme, I don't know if she's listening or not, but I saw her new profile pic. She really looks good.
yeah.
Yeah, she looks good. She looks happy.
Oh, it's good.
So,
Happy is good.
and I miss you, Kelly, if you're listening. I don't know if she is or not, but I hope to hear from her again soon, or we do, whether or not she's going to be back or not.
Okay, so why don't crabs give to charity?
I don't
Why
know.
not?
Because they're shellfish. Sean
Oh,
Connery
I
probably.
was
wrote
just
that
going to
one.
say you almost sound like Sean
They're
Connery.
shellfish. I had a book fall on my head. I can only blame my shelf. Why did the man name his dogs Rolex and Timex?
Oh, I've heard that one, but I forgot the.
Because they're watchdogs.
Yeah, I've heard that one so many times. After being so serious, we're getting real funny now. Or
Birds might use Facebook.
Well, metaphorically rolling with
Oh.
the punches, doesn't that mean something else?
Say what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does.
Yeah. I think it doesn't always have to do with aggression or anything like that, too, because
So
life...
talking about like the stresses of life.
Yeah, well,
roll
yeah.
with the punches. Just
Yeah.
go with it.
Yeah. Go with it and deflect it elsewhere.
Right.
But you got to move with it at first before you can deflect it the other direction.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, life gets you down, too. Things fall through, and, you work... when you're working in life to achieve something, and sometimes it doesn't turn out like the vision you had in your mind, or to fulfill it with the hopes that you had for it. And sometimes the work to maintain it is more than you expected, and so the picture of it that you had in your head doesn't quite match the feeling you have for it when you're there. I think successful people, however you might be successful in your life in any way, friends, relationships, and all that, they become a regular point of maintenance and work for you. It's not just a picture of a fairy tale. For the fairy tales, if you imagine the truth of the matter is they go on,
Yeah.
and life is still life. There's a struggle and there's difficulty, and you can't just exhale and say, good, I've arrived, I'm done. You know what I mean? There's no point in life that I know of that it really gets to be like that. You have to continue to work at it and be prepared.
Yeah. And don't give up.
Yeah. And understand that your expectations a lot of times are a little bit sped up, you know what I mean? I can build a house in my head in 20 minutes.
Nice.
The reality of it is it probably takes
'cause there's a lot of
5
space.
or 6 or 7 or 8 years, to actually go through with it. Especially considering you have to live also. You have to.
And pay for the materials.
Yeah.
A lot of open acreage
Yep.
there.
And in my case, pay someone to do it since we'd not pass code. We'll just leave it at that.
Right.
Any
Whatever
code.
are you talking about? Code of ethics? Building
which code are
code?
we talking about here?
All of the above?
Listen, I come from the land where there are more lawyers than people, so
Oh, right.
Yeah,
They would shut me down.
You're in that area where it's like more legal.
they take my shirt and throw me in jail, and I'd be like, "What happened? You weren't up to code." Done.
Right.
How can you follow that?
Hey,
Matt?
the code like for the building codes in Greene County are very strict.
Yes.
You need to build in Arkansas. That's where I might be able to, at least get my.
So you're going to
Tent
build an
approved.
arc and then a saw. Wouldn't you need to build the saw first?
Go to Lit Hill.
Took a second. You almost caught that one.
Sorry,
Yeah, I
Arkansas.
got it.
That
It's
was,
just what I hear.
yeah,
It's what you want to hear. You might hear it, but you're not listening.
Oh. Here, but
Mike Crimper got good news. Remind me to tell you. I'll shoot you a text afterwards. One of my clients lost 20 pounds in the last week and a half. So
And
Nice.
man, I can't wait to get that paper signed off by the doctor
yeah, that's another thing.
because
I didn't know that.
that's what I'm going to do. My doctor even suggested it.
Really? One of my clients' doctors is actually considering going on the program. So
That's
Well,
good.
there you go. And if I can do it before, if I did it before, I can do it again.
he did it before, and we
That's
can do
an
it
interesting
again.
thing that you explained about how this has worked for you too. Is that like this morning I was feeling like, and I am now still feeling like my blood sugar is low or there's some groggy.
Because you need to eat something.
Right, and I've been sleeping enough,
Mm.
comfortably too, not waking up in my sleep or anything. I've been really, staying active when I am awake, and still I felt like my blood sugar was dropping this
That's
morning.
silly
Well,
shit.
what you were telling
funny.
me is that you can feel certain ways and know what sort
Yeah.
of nutrition in your diet you're missing, or that you've been too long without eating properly, and how much of the things that. So what's in our food? You look at what's in your food now.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and you know what's in it, and then you,
You
can
also
say,
notice
this
what other
is-
people have in their carts, their shopping
Or
carts.
Supplements is another big thing.
Yeah, yeah. Which you can get some really good supplements on naturalsolutionstore.bz, I think, still to this
Good.
day. I'll have to double check
I'm out
on
of
that.
capsules.
I'm pretty sure you can.
I'm
One thing
out of
you can also
capsules.
look at is hemp oil. Mom takes that, puts a teaspoon in whatever she's drinking, and it.
No, that I just do the super hemp balm.
Yeah, that stuff's really good.
It is.
It's amazing, actually.
It's a miracle worker,
Yeah.
actually, in some ways. But I need to talk to Jim about more CBD capsules.
Yeah, we knew what you meant there, Steve Schultz. He said, "Don't make the inspected mad." And then he says, "Inspector."
Gotcha there, Steve.
Yeah, because you even have to have these little metal pieces that go, let's say you've got a pipe running through a wall. you have to have a steel plate over that board protecting that pipe, especially if it's like water or electricity,
I have heard of that.
keeping you from being able to drill into it or to nail into it. You know, you have to have that over every single intersection where there's pipe going through. It's crazy, and it has to follow every time it goes inside a board or behind a board. You have to put something metal there to keep you from electrocuting yourself and starting your house on fire. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah. And you'd be surprised how easy it is to miss them.
Boy,
Have
I'll
an
tell you
inspector come
what.
through, and boy, I don't know how they do it. They got that sharp eye, and they're like, miss that, and that. And
They have a
just glance.
system.
Yeah.
Man, the house that Rachel and I was in, it was my aunt's, and my poor aunt, when she let the house insurance go, and so our house started, you know, my
Where
brother,
did it go?
South.
it almost went up in flames one time.
Ooh.
And so my brother
That's
sees it,
hot.
and he goes,
Boy, don't
you need
get
to
me-
get out of that
don't
house
get me
because
started
all
on
it's
that."
doing is termites are holding up your house. I mean, basically, the wood was starting to rot.
Hey, Dennis.
And so we ended up having to tear the whole porch down because it was so rotted, and to build a new porch. We never got a chance to get it done before he moved here, but it was getting bad, and so Rachel's dad put in a brand new furnace, about $1,500 furnace. It was really nice because the other one was kaput, and I'm like, man, they're gonna have to demolish this and pull out that brand new or almost new heating system. But really, it would have cost over $100,000 to get it to way. The electricity we were still using tubes.
Whoa.
It wasn't even 100 volt. It had to be up to code. It had to be 100. We were still using the fuses and the tubes and stuff instead of your normal box.
That's how his house was whenever we were doing this program from his house.
With the tubing or with
With the
Fuses.
fuses, glass fuses.
Yep, that's what we had. We didn't
Yeah.
have the box, and so it was going to cost. And man, that was a headache. But I
Yeah,
know what you're
'cause
talking about when you say,
Especially if
building
you're in
code.
town.
And it was
You
right
can't
in
do
the
it yourself in town. You have to have, I mean,
building,
you
or you have to have permits or something.
have to have it inspected.
Yep, and we were right in the middle of town. In fact, that was one
I
of the
think
first
there are
houses.
some loopholes or something, but I don't want to mention those on the air because I'm not 100% on that. But there are some loopholes that you could use.
Yeah,
take advantage
it
of.
was one of the first houses, if not the first house, in that area in the city of Pontiac.
Michigan.
So we were kind of lucky to have a house like that. But my poor aunt, you know, with her health and everything, she just kind of let the house insurance go. And without house insurance, if that thing would have went up, we had to leave a lot of antiques behind. I'm
That's
talking-
scary.
Yeah.
So I'll have to bring the pictures in and show you what the house looked like a long time ago versus what I'll bring those in and show you. I don't want to show them on the air.
Yeah.
You don't want to show the
Understandably.
antiques on the air?
Well, I can, but they're gone now. I mean, the house is gone. They got rid of it a couple of years ago. It's gone. It's like a field.
They
now.
sold it.
Yeah, they I think it was auctioned off, and I think the city might have knocked it down, but it's a field now.
Oh, okay.
Is it a field of dreams?
Build it and they will come.
If you burn it, they will come. So,
If they will burn,
that's terrible. I shouldn't say that.
that's mean.
I'm sorry. I'm a little sleepy right now.
That's why you're doing that. It's
12-hour shifts will do that to you.
Yeah.
That's why he's bringing up the dad jokes, is because he knows he's got to do something to keep him going.
Well, you know,
Roll with those punches.
there's no dad jokes that I probably haven't heard.
Yeah, that's true. My dad had some doozies.
Don't you think it's being prepared too?
What, rolling with the punches?
Being prepared and understanding that you don't know what the future holds,
True.
and that there's going to be bumps in the road, and you have to be ready to, absorb them. Or because otherwise, what is it? You're walking away. And I think rolling with the punches is a good analogy because life doesn't let up. You can't just walk away. You know what I mean? No matter what happens, you have to be prepared for a fight. You have to be prepared for a struggle in life.
We got to be
You know.
prepared for this election.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
Yeah.
man, Man, it's a shaky ground right now. You almost want to quiver thinking about it.
You know, I called it though. I said the next election in 2020 is going to be a circus, and it is.
It was the circus when it started. When everything started, it started becoming a circus.
I think giving people the foundation, the people who are around in our lives. I know a lot of times it feels too cliche, or you feel kind of, I don't know, like, is this really what I should do, or how is it going to be accepted, but what I'm finding more recently is that the young people, so the 20-somethings and the 30-somethings, they're talking about their confusion and struggle right now. They're not sure what's going on or what way to go, but they in a way, they know what side they're on. They know what side they've been indoctrinated to. But they also see that these things that they're being told aren't working out like they're supposed to.
Some of them.
So they're looking for answers, and so I've found, look, I've been just giving them the Word of God, telling them where it's found in the Bible, and giving my thoughts and ideas about how it applies to their situation. And in every case so far, there's been 3 of them, different people. They've all found the scripture that I was telling them and my explaining its relevance to the situation and that they were going through and where to look for it. They've all found it to have more credibility than the ideas they're tossing around through social media and through politics and all. You know what I mean? In their life, the relevance that the Word of God has that I was offering to them gave them pause.
What was a specific scripture?
Well, see, it's usually just whichever one strikes me at the time, but Philippians chapter 4, Corinthians 13, Ecclesiastes also, Ecclesiastes has been really powerful for me. I think it's Ecclesiastes where I found it, and I think it's chapter 20. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but read the entire book of Ecclesiastes because it's a beautiful book.
It is.
But it was where God was telling his people, he said, why are there so many people in my city, in my nation, who don't know my name? They don't know me. And then he names them, the eunuch and this person and that person. And he describes people in words that don't say a race or something like that, but describe them, their life, like a eunuch. You know what I mean? You can imagine what that means as a person, what that would mean to somebody. He says, why are they not my people? You need to tell them about me so they know my name, so they worship me, so that they are my people. So that's another thing that's gained relevance for me, is that in my daily life, that the people wandering through in and out of my daily life are people that God wants and God loves and wants to call his own.
Prayers for the family and friends of Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yes.
And the
May she rest in peace.
Yes, and the replacement.
They've got the flags at half staff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they will be for
I
a
didn't know.
certain
At first,
number
I
of
saw
days.
that coming in, and I'm like,
Won't it be that way
okay.
for 7 days, or how many days will it be like that?
Not sure.
There's a particular set number of days they'll be at half staff for a Supreme Court justice.
Well, sorry to cut you guys off. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us on the Morning Drive today. We'll be back on tomorrow, same time, same channel. Tune in next for Brighter Living Live, followed by Sacred Ways with Troy and Belinda Johansson. So you're going to have somebody on here. You're going to get Randy as your guest today?
I don't know. It depends on if he wants to come on.
All right, well, we'll figure it out somehow, some way.
We'll bribe him.
So until then, my friends, God bless you and keep you. We love you. My name is Matt.
My name is Jay.
My name's Steve.
Jeff with a G.
And this has been
The Morning Drive. All right. You got it.